1 second between each other, so we're expecting a close race. They actually raced the last time a week and a half ago in bringing him over to in the race. It's a punishing game. You can easily lose a minute or more to mistakes, and that happened. They also both have PB'd since then, so they should be both in top form. Expecting a good race here. In the very beginning, it's gonna be hard to say who's ahead. They're using slightly different routes. In Mega Man 4, the route is mostly set, but in the beginning you can start from either Brightman or Fairman. And the Fairman route is slightly faster, but the difference isn't large and the Bright is a lot easier, so LookinToad is going to be much more risky here. The big thing here is he needs to clear this gap over there. Alright. So by jumping over the gap, he's going to pick up an optional item pickup here, which is Balloon, the main movement enabling item in the game. If he fell down, he would have entered the normal route for the stage. If he wanted, he would have then had to either finish the game without Balloon or taking a reset there, which is really costly. So the main thing that you get from doing Bright first instead is that Bright Stopper is one of the most unseen powerful weapons in the game. It's like Flash Stopper in Mega Man 2, except you get to use it a lot more and you get to shoot normal bullets while doing it. It just freezes all enemies on screen, which is obviously extremely helpful during the stages. Fairman's weapon is also one of the more powerful things in the game. It gets used in stages a lot too, and what you get from doing Pharaoh first is that instead of using Bright, it's basically just as fast to do the Fair stage with the Buster only, just a little harder, and then you can use Pharaoh Shot and Balloons in Brightman stage, which makes up time. One of the properties of Mega Man 4 is that everything deals a ton of damage. Touching almost any boss is 8 damage, you have 20 HP in total. So you don't need to make a lot of mistakes to get killed. It's not as bad right now on their screens, but when Toad is going to be doing Brightman stage, he's going to use a different route during the stage and he's going to take intentional damage there. And Brightman fights are going to get scarier too. Also, we're gonna see them going for magic pixels here, one of the little glitches in Mega Man 4. When you see, after defeating a boss in the game, you see these little animations where Mega Man collects the boss's explosion bubbles and gains their weapon. In Mega Man 4, if you get to the position where you normally walk during the animation, you're gonna skip parts of the animation. So the basic version of that is that you will want to stand on the very middle pixel of the stage, which keeps the running to the middle and jumping, you just teleport into the middle. But in 2 stages you can actually jump to the center, where you collect those bubbles. In Fairman you can do it because you have the elevated ground in the middle of the stage, and later in Dive Man stage you can do it because it's underwater and you can jump higher. So Toad didn't quite get it in Fairman stage, we'll also later see if Gare gets it. And also right now you saw him doing the Fair first screen with Bright, which freezes all the enemies, makes it much easier, you do not have to mash. You can't get screwed by the fly at the very end of the screen and get knocked into the pit that I was talking about earlier. Meanwhile, I'm not sure if Toad is gonna be using Balloon here. Okay, he just switched to it. So Balloons don't save a ton of time in the stage, but they do save. We have had different Balloon routes during the true stage. The more recent strats a year ago or so, was it that people started doing them, are more consistent than before. Before that, it was roughly even with not using Balloon, also because of the Grasshopper RNG. So those Grasshoppers that Toad is now jumping on, anytime they jump, they can either jump high or low, and if you're not using Balloon and they all jump high, it's pretty fast. If you're using Balloon and they do jump high, they stay on screen longer, which causes more lag. So lag management is also a huge thing in this game. Mega Man games in general, there are pretty big differences in the speedruns, even though they are similar casually. Mega Man's 1 and 2, there's a lot of zipping through walls and abusing glitches. And Mega Man 3, the game switches to a different engine, where you can no longer just break the game, go through walls, but it also adds the slide, which makes normal movement a lot faster. And 3, 4, and 5 have a lot of lag issues, so lag management plays a big deal. Basically, if the game visibly slows down, they are losing a second or more, which adds up like crazy. Okay, so Toad took an unfortunate death in the third stage earlier, so he's a bit behind right now. They're both entering the same stage now, tied up in Ringman. Ringman is actually one of the more dangerous stages in the game. In that stage, well, first of all, you're going to be taking a lot of intense damage. Ideally, you use all your HP. If you get no refills, you're going to have no health left at the end of the stage. Also, it's very long. The checkpoint is really far away. If you die right before it, then it's a huge setback. And also the weapon energy is really tight too, so at worst you're gonna be taking a couple of minutes hit immediately, and then you'll have to redo the stage without your weapon energy. So Gare also already took a couple of hits on the first screen, so it's gonna be a bit dangerous for him now. It looks like he is still going for the damage boost here. Oh, takes an extra hit. Okay. Well, let's see how he's getting on from here. The mini-bosses in Mega Man 4, for the most part, don't prevent you from scrolling to the next screen. So, in this big hippos here, both are using Fair Shot to lower their platforms low enough that they can jump on them and then just damage boost through them and just ignore them completely. The checkpoint is after the second hippo, so yeah, Gare is past that safely. Toad is getting there right now. Here you saw Gare stop for a bit before the ring enemy. He actually deals more damage to you if you run into him than if you take his shots, so normally you won't just slide into him, which is slightly faster, but in this case it would have killed him, so good health management there. Ringman is a scripted fight. It plays the same every time if you don't mess up. It's pretty tight, but these guys should be able to do it, even though it looks really scary at 2 HP. And here on Toad's screen you saw the faster way to get through the ring mini-boss. Next up they're going to be going into Dustman stage. Dustman stage, there are two main strats that people use there. You can do the monster stage either with Right Stopper or Fair Shot, and again, Fair Shot is faster and Bright Stopper is safer. So let's see which one Gare is going to switch into. Oh, okay, never mind, he's gonna just use Bright. Actually, I think there's one more route. You can do it mostly with Buster and switch to Ring early, which is what you use for the boss. I'm not sure if it's vital or if people use it, but it's a thing. And here you can see the Bright Stopper in action. He's just going past everything, not caring about anything. You're gonna see it used a lot more later on in the game. Stages. Oh! Although that is one of the laggiest rooms in the game, so if it goes off script, it's gonna be really hard to do any regular platforming there, because these guys can have all the jumps in their muscle memory. If they want to jump over a gap, they don't just watch Mega Man and see how far he's going. They're gonna just press A for a certain amount of time. And if the game gets really laggy, it gets completely thrown off, and it's sort of like relearning the movement all over again. None of the timings work as they're supposed to. So Toad was using Fair here. You get to see the different route through a stage. There are a lot of really tight shots where you need to do a downward shot to the enemies that are rising from the pits, and if you miss it, you just die. Meanwhile, both are doing the Dust Crusher. At the end of it, there's this... okay, Gare is going to get into the tight spot here, and he gets through. just as well. It's not actually super tight, but it looks scary. You're almost getting crushed there. So Gare's death in Dust was costlier than what the Toad took early, so we see a lead change here. Toad is now into the Dustman fight, which is one of the bigger RNG trolls in the game. Okay, Toad is getting really good RNG here, doesn't just get jumping. If he likes to, he can just do his suck attack, where he's invulnerable for a good while, and there's nothing you can do about it, you just have to wait it out. Or take damage which cancels it, which Gare is doing. He had full HP going into the fight, so he could afford that. If you get in there on low HP, or if he does it multiple times, it starts costing you a ton of time. Toad is entering the Skullman stage right now. Here we're going to see the only viable zip in the game. There are actually a few more you could do, but this is generally the only one that makes sense to go for. Right here, he's putting a ball on some of this enemy, and he gets stuck in the wall while in a sliding position, and when he takes damage while sliding, the game kind of puts him into a standing position, which puts him inside the wall and then knocks him out of there. And you need to be in iframes when this happens. If you're inside the wall without iframes, you just die immediately. So in this stage, we're gonna see a lot of Mega Man 4 basic gameplay, a lot of balloon usage, a lot of Price Stopper in the end. Balloon is a lot like item 1 from Mega Man 2. You put it down, it rises slowly, you can jump on it. And what you're seeing a lot is that these guys are putting it partially inside the wall, which gives you with, I think it's 8 frames or so. It's not super tight, but you can jump on it as long as if it was right there, as long as the explosion thing is still on screen. And it's actually good to do that whenever you can, because the explosion bubble causes less lag than the balloon itself. And again, like, really adds up. It might not seem like much, but something like 10 frames is almost imperceptible, and if you do that several times a stage, in multiple stages, you know. Skullman fight, also scripted, other than for the length of his shield. So right here, when he puts up this shield, you can see Gare getting trolled by him. With Toad through that really quickly. He put down the shield almost immediately while Gare had to wait multiple seconds there. So LookinToad extending his lead a bit there. Getting into the Dive Man stage now. So this is the water stage in Mega Man 4. One little quirk of Mega Man 4 and 5 is that when you're sliding, normally you can just jump out of it whenever, but if there are any other sprites on top of you, you can't. When you press A, nothing just happens. You see that when you slide past ladders, when there's like a close or something in front of you, and most importantly, when you're underwater. So in this stage, most players gotta be really careful with their sliding. If you want to do a shorter than a full slide, you need to manually cancel it by turning around, so Mega Man 6 runners should be able to do that pretty consistently, since that's the thing you do all the time in the game, but for others, it doesn't really come up all that often. This is the only stage where it matters, so people generally don't practice it a lot, so you can see a bit of jerk movement from both players there, stopping for a few frames before jumping out. But they can afford it. It's really not that many times that it comes up in the run.
Is this a good time to read off some donos?
Yes, sure, go ahead.
Okay, we got a $20 donation from Andre saying, so many awesome runs and people running for helping out Ceriam. 3K is on the way. Gotta go fast for my Mega Man dudes, Gare and Toad too. Thanks for the $20 dono, Andre. And we have a $5 dono from Six saying, blast off friends, everyone is so awesome. Siri used this well. Smiley face. Thanks for the donos, guys. If you want to donate, there's links down below.
Alright, a big lead change right here. So Toad took his third death, and apparently he hadn't got any random 1-up drops, so game over is near the end of the stage. That cost him like 2 minutes, I want to say. But we're gonna see again the whales here. Whales are a mini boss in Diamond stage, you get 2 of them, but in speedrun we use a bright stopper against both of them. We freeze them as they are dropping down the screen, and you can just freely mash at them. Also in Mega Man 4, the enemies don't have any iframes, so they drop as fast as you can mash. So the ideal is that both whales you drop in a single jump, but you need to be really good at mashing to do that. If you're more average, you're looking at 2 or 3 jumps. And here, Toad is getting 2 jump, and also getting through in a second. Meanwhile, Gare is getting into Pillman stage. Not much of anything special in that one. Just Bright Stopper a lot. The final stage, rule of the stage, there are these switches that toggles and platforms, so when I touch them, but they are kind of in your way anyway. So not much trouble there. On top screen we're gonna see the Diveman fight again, and after that I missed what Gare did here, but Toad is gonna attempt the animation skip again here. He's gonna use the air bubble as a visual cue, and he misses. So he needs to, after the fanfare has started off, he needs to be at a very specific pixel. Like there's no leeway, it's a specific pixel in the middle of the screen. And during higher jumps, when you're moving faster, you travel multiple pixels each frame, so you need to position yourself exactly correctly to hit that frame, so you don't just go past it. In which case, you don't get the skip. Gare is fighting the biggest RNG troll in the game, the single biggest one. So right here you see Drill digging underground. Gare is doing buffer jumps to find when he's coming back up. And right now Drill can either walk around, jump, or dip back down. And it looks like he's gonna finish the fight with a single dip if he doesn't get screwed here. Yeah, that's really good RNG. The worst possible is that he surfaces, you get 2 hits in, and he dips back down and you wait again. I'm not sure what the worst possible number of dips is. I think it's like 4 or something. It's an absurd amount of time that you can lose from there. And you get to play the lottery twice in the run, since in this game we gotta do the refights the hard way. Meanwhile, Gare entering the last Robot Master stage. Toadman stage is pretty straightforward. But no, actually it's not. Toadman himself is really straightforward. He's the easiest boss fight in any Mega Man game. You just shoot him, which interrupts his pattern, and then you shoot him again. The stage itself is pretty tricky. The first screen here has backwind, so your jumps are shorter than normal, and you need to be really careful jumping off the ledges. There's also water in the stage. It's not a full-blown water stage, but there are some sections, and you need to be careful with your slides there again. In here, you get these waterfalls pushing you, and also a couple of those jumps are pretty tricky because you can't jump off your slides because you got the waterfall on top of you pushing you down. So you gotta jump earlier than normal, which is a bit unintuitive and it's easy to mess up. But yeah, Gare is just doing body stopper things, getting through everything. And the last room has a couple of tricky jumps. One thing I have brought up is that Bright Stopper has a timer that counts down. Obviously, the enemies are going to start moving again at some point. But while you're sliding, the timer doesn't tick down. So if your movement is super clean, like you immediately chain into the next slide after each one, you can go through really long stretches and without having to reapply it. And there are a couple of screens that are really tight about it. The last screen here was one, the last screen in Toad is another, where if you get perfect movement, you get through the whole screen, but if you're slightly sloppy, it's gonna expire at a really unfortunate time near the end, where the enemies abruptly starts moving and can snipe you off a jump and knock you down. But yeah, Gear is through that. Toad is getting into that screen shortly. We're gonna see whether he gets through it between the two or not. Meanwhile, Gear is entering Dr. Cossack stages. Starting from Mega Man 4, the main villain in the games isn't Dr. Wily actually, it's some other random dude who has his own castle, and then in a shocking plot twist it turns out Dr. Wily was behind everything after all. In Mega Man 4's case, the first big bad is Dr. Cossack. Later it's gonna turn out he was blackmailed by Dr. Wily, who kidnapped his daughter. Spoilers. The first Dr. Cossack stage has ice physics for most of it. This room doesn't have that weapons right now, but all the ones with snow on them have, so you gotta be careful with your movement there. The snow can also do some pretty unintuitive things regarding turning from slides, and since the game doesn't really respect your momentum, you can turn on the dime anyway, anytime you want. And in general, when you're general ice stage tip, you want to jump a lot in casual play. If you're moving only while jumping and landing without movement, you're not going to slide anywhere. And same thing applies when ending your slides. It's hard to tell. Sometimes you start gliding the other way if you want to. Also tricky screen here. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, Gear's falling down there, but only one screen, so he should be able to recover. He's very low on balance though, so yeah, he's gonna go for backup jet. So that screen is super tight in getting under those enemies. If your balance aren't almost perfect, you're gonna rise up just a bit too high, and you can't pass under them. And if you do mess up, you almost certainly get knocked down, and it's gonna cost a lot of time. So, Gear getting into the first castle boss, he will have no leeway here, no HP to play with. So if he takes a single hit, he's dead, but he should be able to clear this. Although you saw a lot of those hits missing. So the ring sprite is, despite being pretty large, the actual hitbox is a single pixel in the middle of the ring, and the boss's hitbox is just the glowing part too, and no leeway around it. So even though it looks like some of those shots should have hit, you actually can't hit him unless he's at the lower part of his hovering cycle. So you're gonna plan your shots carefully to actually hit him. Gear is entering Cossack 2, one of the more impressive stages in the game, a lot of balloon usage here. So in Gear's case, since he messed up a few balloon jumps in the previous stage, he's gonna be low on energy. So I'm gonna be curious to see how he recovers from there. Ooh, pretty close jumps there. Those first slides on the spikes there are pretty tight in getting the proper damage boosts. Ideally you want to do a back damage boost from the first enemy, meaning you turn around right before him, which is obviously risky too, since you turn around without hitting him, and if your inputs aren't clean, you're going further away from him. And if you don't do it cleanly enough that he still reaches you, you just fall into the spikes and die. But looks like they are both just fine for now. Okay, so skipping the energy refill there. Yeah, looks like I'm too rusty on the energy management. Apparently that energy refill there isn't something you pick normally, so Gary got all the energy he needed from there. He didn't have to do any other routing changes. Then the other big RNG troll here, the boss of this stage. So... ooh, Gary getting low on energy, low on health too again, so... got like the dodging on point on the second cycle. Okay, now he gets the second worst possible RNG. When you see the boss circling across the screen before you can actually fight him, at the worst he does it 3 times, but it's actually random, he can do it only 1 or 2 times. And if I remember correctly, the odds are 50% worst pattern, 40% middle, and 10% fastest. So 1 out of 100 fights you get a perfect pattern and save a ton of time. Toad getting the worst pattern on the first cycle here again. So pretty even there. Nobody getting making up a ton of time with God RNG. Meanwhile, Gare is entering the auto-scroller stage, so if we have donations to read, that would be a good time.
We do have donations to read. We have a $10 donation from Sammy that says, "Great marathon, better cause." Thank you, Sammy.
Alright, so while the stage actually is auto-scroller, there is actually something you're supposed to do there, since again, lag management, a big part of the game. So what these guys are doing, they want to kill all enemies as soon as they appear on screen, as fast as possible. And it's not a huge difference, but I think you can make a couple of seconds or so by doing all that really well, which is it's a pretty decent chunk of time. And there are two routes they can use here. I'm gonna see which one they go for. I didn't forget to check the PDs, what they normally do. So the new strats that big boys go for is that they're gonna finish the stage here on Ring, which spends all their weapon energy exactly, which is really hard to pull off correctly, since in that case all your weapon energy is accounted for. You can't miss any shots in refights, and some of the patterns are really unpredictable, so it can cost a lot of time if you aren't extremely confident in what you're doing. Just waiting for the bosses to see what they do to make sure you don't hit into their invulnerable patterns. Gare is going for the strat that most people are going to use here. He switches to Fair for the back half of the stage, and he's going to kill most of the enemies with a floating orb without having to spend energy on them. Not going for it too. So the expected choice from both of them. This boss is a set pattern, and you can see a really neat double shots right here. If you kill enemies with these charge shots, and you don't use up, you have less HP than what the shot does, the shot is going to keep going, and the way the damages work out against this boss is that the final shot to the first one, on the final shot to the first one, he's going to be low enough on HP that the shot is going to keep going, and you can pull off that double hit there. Meanwhile, Toad getting into the same fight, he shouldn't have any trouble with it. Getting a cool double hit there again. Also, one little thing that we're gonna see here is he wants to shoot the final shot so that it disappears from the screen as fast as possible, again, for lag management. So when people are using fair shot against different bosses, you generally see them do the last shot downwards, so that the shot disappears from the screen faster than shooting straight into them. Ringman, for example. Meanwhile, getting into Cossack 4, here you might see a couple of differences depending on how the runners have managed their weapon energy so far. You saw Gare switching into Rush Coil for the jump where you take the alternate path. Normally if you have balloon energy left here, like Toad does, he's going to use that there. And use Wheel to break this wall with the other path. Gare, meanwhile, is fighting against the Cossack Catcher. You see him sliding all over the place. While he's sliding, it interrupts the boss's pattern, and he's doing that to keeping in place. It can be a little unpredictable, since it's hard to tell when exactly he starts moving, and you need to start your slide as he does. If you're sliding already at that point, nothing special happens, it's just gonna go through with his pattern. Also, you don't actually need to kill him. You wanna get him to 2 or less HP, which will interrupt him, and you get this cutscene where Pyroman brings Kozak's daughter back, and they reveal, the big reveal of the game comes. It was actually Dr. Wily behind everything all along. Toad managing the boss really well here. Manages to keep him on the left, which leaves himself enough space to just keep sliding against the right side of the screen. If he does manage to get out of kind of a stun lock there, you might have to start switching sides and doing jumps on the other side, and it's get pretty awkward. Gare right now in Wild 1, which is a mech-themed stage. These are going to be the only enemies you see in the stage, and the boss is going to be a big net, summoning more small ones. Some tight movement here. Tight screens, nothing too fancy. Also one more underwater stage. Runners that are comfortable with the slide cancels, you might see them doing slides on these 2 tile blocks, but most people just keep them. And, going for Jet to skip these yoke blocks here. Well, I haven't paid attention to the timer, not sure how far apart they are right now. Looks like Toad is gonna have a lot of trouble making up the gap if Gare doesn't miss up anything major, but there are certainly still spots for him to take a death and lose a ton of time. The method here, he has got 2 different patterns. He can do a lot small or large jumps, and depending on which ones he does, you're gonna have more or less time to... Oh! He takes the death that I was talking about, so Toad's gonna catch up a lot now. Also in wild stages, you don't have checkpoints right before the boss, so dying there is a much bigger setback than dying to Robot Masters earlier, having to do it half of the stage again. But yeah, we see again that bosses do enormous damage on contact. So in this boss, if you aren't totally confident in what you're doing, you want to just take damage from the small mets, that's cheap. But if you touch the boss itself, you die really fast. Toad getting small jumps here, that's good if he gets his shots in perfectly. But if you get small jumps only, you need to be right on point on your shots, so you get as many shots in each cycle as you need to finish him in the smallest possible amount. So Toad ahead by a full boss fight here. Closer than before. Goes timer here to see the exact difference. Toad finished the fight at 33:20. So right there you see Gare taking damage from the small mets to take a damage boost and slide through the boss safely, taking less damage there. Okay, so the difference seems to be around 25 seconds or so. Meanwhile, Wily 3 is the last long stage in the game. Wily 4 after it, but that's gonna be a lot shorter. That's really a full stage. A lot of rush jet jumps here. Ideally you kind of would want to use not just use balloon all over the place, but you only have so much energy. And also it works out nicely here using jets that you can still stay on it while killing enemies. You also see Toad carefully summoning Jet in places where it's gonna disappear off the screen as fast as possible after he's done using him and no longer needs to. Do we have more donations coming?
We do have some donations, if I could read them, if you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a $25 dono from Endo that says, put this towards Ceriam's meme supply. We will gladly do that, thank you Endo, and let's get hyped! Gave $20. Here's to getting Ceriam back on his feet. Cheers. Thanks for the donos, guys. I do want to announce my boss, Manix, told me that the spacer jump goal for Super Metroid Randomizer was met. I'm not a Super Metroid Randomizer player, so I don't know what that is, but that's supposed to be really awesome, so congrats to all you that donoed. There's right now 0 incentives that still need to be met. You've met every single incentive. That's awesome, but there's still a lot of awesome bid wars that you could see. We'll catch those during intermission.
Alright, there were a couple of big tricks in the boss fight here that we kind of missed. So the first one is that when you jump through the boss door, you still have full control over Mega Man until you land. In general, for all cutscenes in all Mega Man games, if you're sliding or in the air, the cutscenes don't start, so that's used for different kinds of cutscene skips in all Mega Man 3, 4, and 5. And here the runners used it to jump through the boss door, which will give them a little bit of time in the air before the boss fight actually starts, and they're gonna use that time to use Toadman's Rain Summon. And the boss starts taking up health fast enough that the actual hit only comes after the boss has already spawned, and taking damage interrupts the really slow health count up and gets the fight to start faster. And afterwards they switch to Drill, which only does 1 damage to the boss, but it destroys the boss's hitboxes, which if you don't do that and try to jump at the boss, you just take damage as normal. But after killing those hitboxes with Grill, they get to stand inside him and just play at him freely. So here Toad is and Gare soon is past the short Water 4 stage. You just drop down a few screens, get to collect a bunch of energy refills, which we use in the run to refill the more crucial weapons, have enough to use all the important boss weaknesses. The boss fights themselves are mostly the same as the first time around, so no big surprises there. Pyramid gets killed with dust, which normally you don't have at that point. Also some tricks here near the end of the refights. You're gonna see Toad right now fighting Brightman with Skull Shield and switching into the Rain Flush, that's what it's called, halfway through, and then leaving just enough energy for it to start the Drillman fight with it. Against Drillman, Rain Flush only does 1 damage, but it just works out so that since the Deep Missile deals 3 damage, and the boss has 28 HP, he will normally be left with 1 HP at the end of the fight, so even though the first hit is only 1 HP, it still saves up. It's still worth as much as the 3 damage hits effectively. Toad can do 2 dips here. Gare can actually get really close here if he gets perfect RNG and Toad loses a lot of time, but so far that doesn't seem to be happening. Toad still safely ahead. He's raised to win or lose at this point. Oh, let's see how many deeps really is going to give Gare here. Oh, Toad is fighting Ringman. This fight is going to be slightly different than the first time around. The difference here are that you can normally in the stage you start the fight with full charge. In here you can't do that. You're gonna have to open with a single shot, and also you want to end the fight in a different place. In the stage you want to kill him as near the center as possible, so that his explosion bubbles burst out of the screen as fast as possible, since the cutscene after the fight starts after they have all disappeared. In these fights you want to end the fight on the left side and kill the boss as near the corner as possible, which makes the first bubbles disappear faster, so that the lag dissipates faster. And ending the fight is only dependent on you getting into the teleport and doesn't care about what the boss is doing at that point. Toad getting really low on ring here, but just manages to clutch it out. Here with Real, you see the same trick that we saw in the Wild 2 boss earlier. they use the last shot against the first phase with the drill. And the explosion lingers on the screen long enough to damage the second phase, so that you get to skip the health count up again. Gare doing the fight safely from full HP. This is also one of the more dangerous fights in the run. You take a lot of damage from those shots and they can be tricky to dodge in the second phase. If you need to. If you do have a lot of energy, you just take some damage boosts and can just shoot at him however you want. So it's gonna slide through a few screens here, do some well-timed shots to kill these enemies dropping from the ceiling. And after that, it's the capsule fight. The race is not over yet, it's dangerous. The capsule does a lot of damage, you don't have a lot of energy, you're not allowed to miss shots, and he appears on the screen randomly. So it's really easy to get hit by him. Although ideally you would want to get double shots in, getting the first shot into his hitbox like that. Top playing really careful right here because he can't finish. So you have only two weapons that deal damage to the capsule. His weakness is the Fair Sun, I think it's called. And if you mess up your weapon energy, you get low spawns, so you can't do these double hits that the Gare is doing right now. You can run out, and if you run out, your only backup is Ring. It deals 1 damage a hit, and also you normally don't have any left, unless you were extra careful to save it, just in case as a backup. And Toad, falling 1 damage short, losing the lead in the very end. Toad trying to decide between farming the enemies for random drops to refill, or just taking a game over and getting full energy refills that way. Looks like he's going for the game over now, so I think he's gonna get the game over after this death. I don't remember seeing him pick up extra lives. Oh no, he's gonna do one more. Yeah, that might be the biggest death you can take in this game. But yeah, that's Mega Man 4. I don't have anything general in mind to say, not much to talk about regarding what's going on screen. We're gonna see Toad. Oh my god, he has so many lives. Toad is gonna finish his run pretty quickly once he manages to game over first. It's nice that there aren't even any pizza spikes to heal yourself faster. Gonna have to wait for these gummy worms to grind you out. And we're finally back in business. Getting game over, getting full health, energy refills. Should be finishing in a minute now. Let's see if he gets better capital RNG this time. No, still getting low spawns. Okay, so here you saw what you ideally want to happen. You hit a high capital spawn near him, so he just slid under him, got 1 hit from the hovering sun, and then you can still shoot the normal shot after that, so you get 2 shots in without using extra energy, and also just like get 2 shots a cycle instead of 1. So the capsule is a pretty big RNG troll too. Lots of those in this game, but yeah, close race until the final boss. Race goes to Gare again.